The Israeli army has completely wiped out Hamas and Hezbollah from Syria. The Israel Defense Forces announced that they have conducted a large-scale air operation against Syria and that outposts and ammunition depots belonging to Hamas and Hezbollah forces have been destroyed. The violence of the war between Israel and Hamas, which began on December 7, continues to increase day by day. The Israeli army has completed all the preparations for the ground operation they plan to destroy Hamas militants in the Gaza Strip. However, with Iran providing military support to Hamas and Hezbollah forces, the Israeli military was forced to postpone this ground operation. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is quite confident that Hamas will be destroyed. A spokesman for the Israel Defense Forces recently announced that they will enter the Gaza Strip and begin heated clashes with Hamas militants. The mutual attacks that have been going on between Israel and Iran for years have also had an impact on this war. Both countries are in a struggle with each other to prove who is the most powerful state in the Middle East. The Iranian government is aware that the Israeli army has a military force that will destroy the Hamas forces. For this reason, Iran is trying to degrade Israel by providing military support to Hezbollah and Hamas. And do you think that Iran will be able to corner Israel in the Middle East by carrying out this diabolical plan? It is a known fact that missiles and anti-tank missiles belonging to the Iranian army are used by Hezbollah forces. Hezbollah, which is stationed on the Syrian and Lebanese borders, carries out airstrikes against Israel every day. The Israel Defense Forces have deployed Iron Dome air defense systems in many parts of the country in order to prevent these attacks on Israel. U.S. President Joe Biden did not want Israel to go to war with Hezbollah. However, after the Hezbollah spokesman announced that they had entered the war with Israel and had suffered their first casualties, it became certain that the war had also started between Hezbollah and Israel. After Hezbollah announced that they were launching a war against Israel, the Israeli army launched a simultaneous air operation against both Hamas and Hezbollah forces. Israel, which wants to prevent airstrikes on Israel from inside the Syrian borders and end the Hezbollah-Hamas partnership in Syria, has blown up many military outposts and ammunition depots in Syria. Shortly after the Israeli Defense Ministry announced that it had a different plan for Hamas forces, the Israeli intelligence service Mossad stated that they had located most of the military outposts and ammunition depots belonging to Hezbollah and Hamas forces located within the borders of Palestine, Syria, and Lebanon. Shortly after this announcement by the Israeli intelligence service, the Israeli army targeted Syria in this special operation it launched. On the same day, the Israel Defense Forces announced that it had destroyed 6 police stations and 2 ammunition depots, and announced that most of the Hezbollah and Hamas forces stationed on the Syrian border had been destroyed. The Israel Defense Forces stated that Hezbollah missile systems were found in most of these destroyed outposts. The destruction of 6 of these outposts, which were the main bases of the airstrikes on Israel, dealt a major blow to the Hezbollah forces. At the same time, the destruction of some of the munitions that Hezbollah had procured from Iran also caused a great loss for Hezbollah. After this air operation carried out by the Israeli army, reports began to come that Iran would begin to intervene directly in the war. It is believed that Iran will provide direct support to Hezbollah and Hamas if the Israeli military also conducts such an air operation inside the Gaza Strip. The fact that Hezbollah has become a factor in this war in such a short period of time is one of the points that makes both Israel and the United States nervous. For this reason, the Israeli army is fighting a big fight to prevent Hezbollah from fully entering this war. Hezbollah's use of Iranian-made Ra'ad-T missiles in the latest attack against Israel has confirmed that Iran has sent its missiles to Hezbollah. Hezbollah militants carry out airstrikes with these missiles on radar, listening and intelligence points maintained by the Israeli army on the Lebanese border. While this war between Israel and jihadist organizations is ongoing, Russia's attempt to get involved in the war has led to increased tensions between Israel and Russia. It is a well-known fact that Russia has been supporting jihadist organizations in the Middle East for many years. There is a high probability that Russian munitions were also found in the airstrikes carried out by the Israeli army on ammunition depots belonging to Hezbollah forces. Russia, which supported jihadist organizations in Syria after the civil war in Syria began, is now indirectly supporting the attacks of these organizations against Israel. Do you think that Russia-US tensions will play an important role in the power struggle in this region? As it is known, Russian and Iranian government officials have started organizing shipments to Palestine under the name of humanitarian aid coverage. The Israeli intelligence service stated that these humanitarian aid packages departing from Russia and Iran will enter the Gaza Strip via Egypt. However, these closed boxes sent by Russia under the name of humanitarian aid were delivered by Turkish aid organizations operating in Egypt. It is a well-known fact that Turkey also supports Palestine in this war. Turkish aid organizations are seeking permission from the Egyptian administration to enter Gaza through the Rafah Gate without opening these closed boxes. Israeli intelligence believes that these closed boxes contain not only humanitarian aid supplies, but also military ammunition and weapons. Allegations that Russia provides military support to jihadist organizations under the name of humanitarian aid coverage have become an issue on the agenda all over the world. After this air operation, which the Israeli military carried out against Hezbollah and Hamas forces in Syria, it also began conducting airstrikes on the Lebanese borders, where Hezbollah is heavily located. Hezbollah, which did not respond after the blow they received from the Israeli army, launched an intensive airstrike on Israel through Lebanon. The Israel Defense Forces said in a statement that Hezbollah forces launched a new airstrike on Israel over Lebanon. These attacks were blocked by Iron Dome air defense systems. Along with these events, the allegations that Russia and Iran are providing military support to Hezbollah and Hamas forces under the name of humanitarian aid coverage have caused a shock effect all over the world. The Israel Defense Forces announced in their latest statement that they have approved the war logistics plans of all divisions going to Gaza. Israeli officials, who expressed that all forces are highly prepared in terms of new technology and war materials, stated that the preparations have been completed. However, Russia is one of the countries that most opposes the Israeli military's ground operation in the Gaza Strip. The Kremlin administration believes that the threats against Russians in Gaza will increase after the Israeli ground operation in Gaza. For this reason, Russia does not want the Israeli army to launch a ground operation in the Gaza Strip.